Welcome everybody to episode 5 of Money Minded. I'm joined here today with my very, very special, the big man, my good friend, Isaac. Say hi, man.
Yo, what's up, guys? Nice to be here. I'm excited.
So Isaac, tell us a bit about yourself, a bit about like how you got into crypto and everything.
Oh man, I got into crypto. That's a good question, actually. 2017. At the time, this girl I was pursuing told me about Bitcoin, and I've heard of. Yeah, I know, right? Such a cliche Stephen Duck story right here, bro. Um,
Did she
so
like give you her referral code? So you can...
I wish she would be minting now, dude. Um, so I mean, she spoke to me about Bitcoin. I knew what it was at the time, but only for the dark web purposes. And then I realized that because I was in London at the time, so I figured, oh, I have extra money lying around from working part time as well. So why not? So I guess that's how I started. And like everyone else, I just fell into that rabbit hole of understanding like what Bitcoin was, what it stood for. And from then on, I think I just fell in love with it basically. And of course the cash grab, right? Because it's like fast money, I would say.
Right. When it was in 2017, like what price was like Bitcoin back then when you were into it?
My first Bitcoin purchase was I think it was £1,000 for one Bitcoin. I didn't have money, like much money then, so I only bought like 0.1, I think. So £100.
Right.
Yeah.
That's insane, man. That's still insane.
Yeah, shit, man.
You held it up to now.
No, I sold it. Paper head.
Oh no, the pain.
Shit.
You fell into the temptation, man.
Fun fact, if you would have held since October 2017, your Bitcoin will be up 1,400%. So your
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, man.
£100 would have been £1,400. Damn, dude. So when did you actually sell? Did you actually ride out the first the initial 2017 bull market before the big crash from 20k all the way back down to 3k?
So it was quite crazy, right? At the time I didn't, because I was all alone, I didn't know, like had no educational resources, watched a few YouTube videos. So I was trading on this like janky ass platform called PolyNetwork. I didn't even know CoinMarketCap existed at the time. So I was trading only in BTC pair. I would just look like in BTC pairing, like, oh, I bought Ripple. Ripple did a 2x within a day. At the time, Ripple was like half a cent. And then that was how I was trading. I held a lot of shit coins. I bought like Tron, I bought like Verge, like XVG. I held it all the way to the bull market, like till the end, the very end, where I think Verge went from half a cent to 25 cents. I didn't sell jack shit until everything came crashing down. So I was selling in the red basically.
But you still made lah, right? It's not like you went back down to like losses. You still made a profit, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. My starting capital at the time was about 1,000, 1,400, £1,600. I obviously took out the capital, took out a bit of profit and everything. Everything else, I tried riding to Valhalla, but then clearly didn't work.
So you said you got out of crypto at the end of that bull market, right? So at what point did you come back in?
That's a really good question. But I think as I got out, I think I just left all my coins in Binance as it was. And then was it mid 2019? I think I was in the States at the time for a holiday, and then that was when like Bitcoin went up to 14K. So that was like the bull trap, right? That's when I started keeping my eye on it again. So I thought like, okay, it's time for me to like sell all these shit coins because they're never gonna go back to where it was, like Tron, Verge. Had a bit of like, oh man, I had like 70K Dogecoin, dude. Like much regrets for selling.
Yikes.
Sold it. Shit. And then that was when I just started like keeping an eye on it again because I felt like, okay, the bull market is gonna come back. Yeah.
So basically, you rode a few of those excess coins through the 2017 crash and the COVID 2020 crash as well.
Yeah, basically. I mean, once I sold all those shit coins, I moved it on to ETH and Bitcoin. Yeah, that's when I just diamond handed everything throughout all the way COVID until like August 2020. So last year, that's when I started ramping up on like trading. That was when Uniswap just came out. So I was on Uniswap most of the time, just trading all these like random like ERC20 tokens.
So you have multiple accounts, right? You have Uniswap, you have Binance, now you have FTX nowadays. So like what what made you favor one over the other?
Yeah, I think Binance for me. I'm looking into a new exchange that's up and coming. Zen knows about it. I've showed it to him. But I think it's all in the UI UX experience. Really, that's about it. Because every other platform, every other trading platform, kind of just offers the same thing, right?
Yep, and we can share that currently small cap new exchange that could be up and coming, but you just have to listen until later. So you mentioned about getting back in through trading, right? So at what point did you start going deep into sort of, many people argue for it to be the best store of value or just a way to unbank yourself, right? At what point did you sort of start believing in the fundamentals?
I think the conviction started growing. The interest was always monetary at first, like seeing how these people can make so much money off it. And then 2019, I think that's when I just sat down and started reading more about it. The idea of decentralization itself is quite appealing to me and appealing to, I think, a lot of us in developing countries like ourselves. I have a lot of friends, internet friends actually, that are in like South Africa, for example. And some of them actually are going through like civil wars at the moment. It's quite crazy. And to think that they're living in a country that has like hyperinflated currencies, I think it just makes sense. You're hedging your risk against a depreciating asset. And Bitcoin has proven to be the best performing asset of all time. If you look in the past decade, the S&P 500 has done like a return of 298%. Gold has actually given you a -3. And I think Bitcoin is over like 450,000% or something. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I've seen people around me that have come out of their poverty stricken circles, right? We're living in an age where I feel, especially with COVID around, the poor get poorer and the rich get richer because the rich would capitalize on everything that's like tanking, like real estate, traditional stocks. And these are like markets that have relatively like high barrier of entry. But crypto, when people come and ask me, like, oh, how much do I need to start trading? How much do I need to start investing? I think it's a no-brainer, man. Like $100 should get you a long way in the future. So it just makes sense for me. I think Binance put out statistics like if you bought like 50 ringgit worth, 10 USD every week from 2015 to 2020, that's like 2,500 USD, so 10,000 ringgit, that money would have done like a 10 to 15x. If you just bought regardless of the Bitcoin price at the time, whether it's the all-time high or all-time low, right? And it just shows the power in like cryptocurrencies and how they're able to really like build generational wealth. And I think that's what I strive for. And you look at our 9 to 5 jobs as well. I think you understand, like you're working at EY, like you work like a dog, but like you get paid like peanuts, dude. Like no cap.
That's my job, man.
Yeah, that's my perspective on like these companies. Holy shit, I just realized I'm going back to London for a job. I mean, my future employer is great.
Oh, what?
You gotta say what you gotta say, man.
Well, I think one thing very, very, very important that we have to point out from the point that you said about accessibility and just buying $50, right? A lot of people are intimidated by the price point of Bitcoin. When I talk about Bitcoin, they're like, yeah, but it's too expensive. You see, you can buy what they call a fraction of a Bitcoin, right? You don't have to buy one Bitcoin for 200,000 ringgit. You can buy 0.0001 for $200. And if Bitcoin goes up, your $200 goes up as well. At the end of the day, you look at it in percent-wise. Yeah, you look at it in percent-wise, like Isaac mentioned, it's still outperforming literally everything in the traditional markets.
So Isaac, curveball question, right? So you talked about like the power of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Do you believe that eventually we will be using like Bitcoin as a currency of exchange? And if so, like when do you think that will happen?
Personally, I think Bitcoin is moving towards the territory of a store of value, right? Like gold. And even in the modern day, like gold isn't used to really just trade around because it's bulky. It's hard to divide. But like Zen said, like fractionalization of Bitcoin is a massive thing. And it's one of the beauties, right? And even like NFTs, which I think we'll get into later, are also fractionalized now as well. I think there's a place for Bitcoin in the world, 100%. And when I say Bitcoin, I probably mean the umbrella term of like cryptocurrencies, because everything will move into an era of digitalization, right? You see, like, I think the States is starting like CBDC, like central bank digital currency. China is coming up with their like the digital yuan as well. So I think comes a point of time, it's inevitable. Any country that stops the hindrance or that stops the growth or the implementation of blockchain technology is basically hindering your own economy from growing. Even Malaysia, I don't know if you guys know, but MyEG, like the Malaysian electronic government thing, I think they're starting their own they're looking into DeFi now.
Yeah.
And they're letting people like what? I think if you put your Ethereum or Bitcoin in, you get like 5% return, which is still higher than the banks, right? Which is ridiculous. And it really shows the power of like decentralization and how much banks as well are taking money from us. Because in the UK, I keep money in my Barclays and I get 0.01%. And they notify me when they tell me, oh my God, we're going to bump the interest rates up to 0.0125. I was like, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's the thing about like cryptocurrencies, right? You have like DeFi, like you have like these different websites where you can invest your cryptocurrencies. You got Pancake Swap, you've got Sushi Swap, Uniswap. Those places, they give you like 100% APRs. I mean, there's a risk that comes into it, but still, when you compare that to the chump change that your bank is giving you, it's crazy. Like, why would you turn down that offer?
I think we should point out that obviously these returns come with their own risk, so please
have
do your own
risk, of
research, okay?
course,
No
of course.
financial advice. This is your disclaimer.
You have to make
We are
sure-
not
you have
financial
to make sure
advisors.
that nobody just comes up to us one day and like, you told me to buy this, and then nah.
Yep.
Look, but I do have some money staked on Pancake Swap, and so far it's been doing well. But I do that because I understand the risk. But if I just look at the returns, it's close to 100%. I like the project. I like what it does. That's why I put money into it. Yeah, when I compare it with like FDs, man, and I compare that to like staking, even just staking, it doesn't have to be like on Pancake Swap. Yeah, it's depressing, man.
So since we're touching into DeFi, right, for the people who are not familiar, right, what is DeFi and what does it really mean to sort of unbank yourself?
I guess
Yeah.
for short, DeFi means decentralized finance, right? Essentially, what it does is peer-to-peer lending and borrowing at the very basic level. So it's funny because like there is still a middleman in between, like a platform, right? Like for example, Anchor Protocol, but it's decentralized to a certain extent that there is no governing body in comparison to a bank. So what I can do is I can put my money there, I can put my Ethereum, and someone else could lend it for me at a crazy rate, right? So that's basically becoming your own bank. And it shows like the amount of returns that they could give you. Let's not talk about like 100% because I think Huang was probably talking about like liquidity providing.
Liquidity boost, yeah.
So that's like way riskier, right? Platforms that are safe, are considered safe, are offering like 8 to 12% on just stable coins. And that's crazy, right? Like, it again shows you the power of it all. And these platforms as well, they come with the risk of getting hacked, but most of them are becoming increasingly insured. BlockFi is a big one, and I think they, don't quote me, but I think they have like 350 million USD worth of like insurance. So even if they get hacked or we lose our funds, you get it returned to you anyways. And you're still getting 8 to 12% return on your stable coins, which to me is a no-brainer. When someone comes to me and tells me, I want to jump into the crypto space, I don't want to trade, I'm scared of investing because shit will go to zero, then I'm like, bro, just put in your USD into something like that and you're still making more than you'll ever make in a bank. And then
Yep.
they'll still come to me and tell me, what's a stable coin though? Will it go to zero? I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like,
so that is
Yeah, I mean,
the
everyone starts from
educational
somewhere.
barrier, lah. Right?
Yeah,
That is
everyone
the
has to start from
educational barrier.
somewhere, right? Even I was like, when I just started getting into crypto, I was like, what the hell is a USDT? What's the difference between USDT and like BUSD? You got to do a lot of your own research, lah, and it's a lot
Yep.
of trial and error as well.
Which also shows like how early all of this still is, right? When people still need to learn about stablecoins before they even start to learn about protocols and cryptocurrencies. So for those of you who are uninformed, DeFi is basically considered as unbanking yourself because you're basically doing what the bank does. You take your money, you lend it to someone. What do you think the bank wants your money for? Why do you think the bank wants you to put your money into fixed deposit? So that they can lend it out. You are the liquidity provider of the world, right? Every dollar you put into a bank, every ringgit you put into a bank is getting lent out for 5 to 7%. But how much are you getting back? Your FD is giving you like 1% for 3 months. Don't quote me on that, but 1% for 3 months, the bank is keeping the other 6%. How do you think they make money? So if you cut out the middleman, that is what DeFi does. You take on a bit more risk, but if you join like what Isaac mentioned, larger, more reputable staking pools, you still get to enjoy higher interest in the yield that you get with lesser risk, although the risk is obviously
Well,
still there.
but okay, in the bank's defense, right? You can still argue that banks are safer than like I wouldn't say safer, but like less risky than the crypto market because since the crypto market, as we just said, is so new, it's easily manipulated, right? All it takes is like Elon Musk to just tweet like he hates Bitcoin, and you're gonna see Bitcoin take a huge dip, right? It's so easily manipulated just like that. You can't do that with like your Malaysian ringgit, right?
But which
I
brings
think
up the
like
point that Isaac mentioned just now. You just get into stable coins. You don't earn 20% a year. That's fine. You still earn 5%. That's still great. 5% is basically half of an average S&P 500 annual return. But you are literally staking just USD. You're not even investing in anything.
yeah, true. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why banks hate cryptocurrency. Because if you're not investing in a bank, you're probably gonna have to invest it either in the stock market. And if it's not in the stock market, it's gonna be some other asset. And cryptocurrency is like very, very attractive.
Yeah.
The postman hates email, dude. Same thing.
Until the postman became part of like the whole email thing.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's something like we'll see in the near future, right? With all these like new crypto solutions that are doing like B2B, because banks want in as well, right? Because banks realize that I'm earning 6 to 7% from lending out your money when I could put it also in an exchange
Yeah.
that will give me 8 to 12%. Like it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah, the banks are gonna go from wait, you're stealing my customers to hold on, you're doing better than me.
Yeah.
But there has been a lot of scam. Like there has been like a huge scam recently. I don't know. Like, did you guys hear about the whole Polygon scam thing where some dude, some big chat, like stole 600 million USD
Yeah.
worth of crypto, right?
That was
But
crazy though.
but that didn't even phase the crypto market when the news came out. In fact, the guy got caught and he had to return back most of the money.
Yeah.
It's
I think
so.
Polygon is looking to hire him as well, as chief of security,
I
because
mean, it's a smooth move.
it's
That's what
it's a
you gotta
smart
do.
move, right?
It's a
It's a
smooth move.
smart move. Like, um, I think, and he did an AMA on the system. I think he was like, "Oh, why am I hacking you guys?" He's like, "Yeah, for fun," and like he just found an exploit in the network because he didn't even need access to private keys. He could have changed some line of the code, and apparently all the funds were flowing into his account.
This brings up the security factor, right? If somebody can just go in and change a line of code, right? What's stopping like governments from literally taking down big projects? Let's say
Random
country A's government becomes a mafia, right? What is stopping them from hiring like top tier hackers to take down, let's say in the future, a $2 billion like staking pool?
Yeah, I don't. It could happen. It could very well happen. But then again, like you never know who would be behind it, anyways, right? And
But
I guess that's like the fear of it all.
but from what I understand about like the whole Polygon hacker thing, what they did was that, well, to put it in like layman terms, is like they know which specific cryptocurrency was being stolen, and they basically like pinpointed it out so that no market would be able to accept that specific line of crypto. So basically, it's like a in those bank robber films when they try to steal money and then when they open the money like a blue paint just pops out and it
Correct.
just marks all the currencies in that robber's bag. That's basically what they did with like the cryptocurrency, and that's why they made him return back all the money because in his hands it's useless. Like in the future, if someone else did it, I think you can like just stop them, just like trace back where it went and just pinpoint it out.
Yeah, like adding on that, I think that's the whole point of like cryptocurrency as well, right? Because it's on a public ledger, so everyone could see what address it was coming from. And like Huang mentioned, I think the moment the hack got out, like a few exchanges responded, saw money coming from that address in, and then they froze all the funds, so they couldn't use it anyways. It's quite funny because I remember on Twitter some random guy actually sent the hacker like money, and he added a note saying like, oh, by the way, they're tracking your funds. And then the hacker replied to the guy, oh, thanks for telling me. And I think he sent the guy like 15 ETH or something as a thank you. So
Lucky bastard.
ridiculous, man.
I want to know, like, what are your small cap gems, man?
You love looking for small cap gems, right? That's like almost like a hobby for you, to my knowledge.
Okay, it's a fact. Let me put it this way. I don't have a big amount of capital. And at my stage, putting my risk into Bitcoin, which I know will do a 3, 4, 5, 10x in the next decade, maybe, it wouldn't be enough for me to like make fuck it money, you know, or fuck you money, right? It's not gonna work. If I had 10 million now, yeah, sure. Why would I stress myself out with doing all this due diligence on like small caps? Because I can make a 10x on Bitcoin and I'll call it a day. But for people like me, or maybe people like you guys as well, like I'm looking for that like 10, 50, 100x because that's where I'll be able to actually make life-changing money. And I think that's the simple answer towards it, right?
So just how do you find those? Like, what's your process?
Uh, I think Twitter is one. Twitter is one thing. Aside from all the crypto Twitter people that show all the random shit, they're actually really like, they're actually some really good ones. Like Capo is one good one. Bitcoin Brown, Mr. Biz, Dread Bongo, Cyber Eye. There's quite a few good ones. And YouTube as well. YouTube is quite a good resource. The few I watch religiously would be like Lark Davis, Crypto Banter. I used to watch Data Dash a lot, but that's more like technical analysis. Crypto Zombie as well for TA. But that's how I find all these like low cap coins, and I just do my research on them because there's always there's like over 5,000 coins now maybe, and I think it's a fact that during a bear market, 90 to 99% of them would die out, right? So it's just doing your own research. That's how I find them, and then from there I go into the community. I see who's behind them, who's their advisors, and it's similar to investing in traditional markets, right? You see how they're performing. Do they hit their roadmap milestones in time? And it's all the basic stuff.
Are there any specific red flags? Whenever you're looking at all this, right? Is there anything that you look at it and it instantly goes, this shit is gonna be a scam?
That's a good question. Like I said, Twitter is like quite a good resource, right? A lot of people that are really well versed in researching deep into these companies, they call them out on Twitter most of the time. I think, for example, there's this project called Cellframe. I was in it a while ago, and then the next thing I knew, one of my friends he posted on Twitter saying like the CEO has been in multiple scam projects in the past. He's never disclosed them, but all this shit is on the internet, right? You can find it everywhere. So it's those kind of things that kind of irk me a bit. And let's talk about token unlocks. So for those who don't know, token unlocks essentially therefore VCs or venture capitalists that invest in a project. When I look at their token unlock schedule and like huge amounts of it like get released on like a monthly, for example, that's a red flag for me because it does seem like okay, these VCs, by the time they get their tokens, they're probably up like 100, 200, maybe even 1,000x. And what do? They probably just dump their bags onto the market, right? So that's a red flag as well. The community is a big thing. I think in cryptocurrency, like the space generally, if you don't have a strong community backing your project, no matter how good it is, no one's gonna shill it. And the community is toxic as fuck. Like I'm out as well. Yeah, these three things at least for me.
Has there ever been like a project that you actually struck gold? Like you actually made it?
What do you mean by made it though?
Like you 10x from your small cap gems or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. I've caught 10, 20 X's. I've caught one that if I held all the way would have done 100x.
And
I parked out at 40x.
still better than it's still better than most, man.
It's still better than most, and you think about it. Like Zen said, like S&P 500 yearly returns. Like Wall Street is fucking like crying with tears of joy when they do a 10 to 12% like gain in a year, right? But that happens like on literal daily in like crypto.
Yeah, but
But
we should disclaim that a negative
High
10 to
risk.
12% happens on a daily as well.
Yeah, it's high risk.
It's mad, man.
It's
It is
high
mad.
risk.
And speaking of smaller caps, let's talk a little bit about Unizen.
Right. What do you want to know, boy?
So, not financial advice, and we might hold a bit of Unizen, just a disclaimer.
I hold a chunk of
But-
Unizen. Just a disclaimer. So I'm shelling my bags, guys. Just saying.
But there's a good reason why Isaac has loaded up his bags on Unizen, right? So this is the future potential exchange that we were talking about that could blow up.
Sell it to me, man.
Sell it to you. Okay,
Sell it to
first,
me,
yeah.
man.
Just a disclaimer. I got it on private sale, so I'm up 100x already. Just a disclaimer.
Just to
but
flex
my,
me
al-
on the first
but
5
my
seconds.
allocation was also like a $30 allocation, right? So I think, so what makes Unizen so like special to me? The team is great. That's number one. They have a lot of disruptive technology in the crypto spaces, and some of these companies, all their CEOs are strategic advisors for Unizen. But the tech is insane, in my opinion. So they're the first ever DeFi exchange. So that's centralized and decentralized combined. That's a big up and coming thing. If we see like the recent crackdown on Binance, like the biggest problem was, although it was centralized, it wasn't fully regulated. There's no regulatory compliance. And I think back in 2017 when Binance started, it was probably like the market's so small, no one's gonna clamp down on us. So we just keep going until we're too big to fail, until we're too big and like SEC has to say something or like the FCA has to say something, right? So Unizen kind of like skips that already because they're going towards with a fully regulatory like regulated exchange. What that does is not only for retail users themselves, it's good for institutional investors. So big companies like Michael Saylor, for example, or Elon, even if like Tesla wants to buy more Bitcoin, you could go to an exchange like this without worrying about any regulatory crackdowns or incompliance that they would have to face. I think that's one big plus on what Unizen is doing. But what's interesting is Unizen is actually integrating Binance Cloud. And Binance Cloud is this really exclusive program that Binance does. So what does it do? When Unizen launches, Unizen automatically has all the security that Binance has and all the liquidity. And that's the problem with most exchanges that come up, right? When exchanges come into the market, the biggest issue they have is liquidity. When you have low liquidity, no one's going to trade there. Unizen completely obliterates that obstacle just by integrating Binance Cloud. For me, the big winner is because I'm a massive fan of staking. I think staking without like LP, which is what Huang is doing, there's no impermanent loss, there's no risk, or minimal risk. So what Unizen does is you put in your Unizen, you stake your Unizen, and you get multiple coins in return. So it's called a dynamic yield asset staking. So you can get Bitcoin in return, you can get Ethereum in return, you can get all these other coins just by staking one asset. And I think that's a game changer as well. And they have something like Binance Launchpad, but the very big difference with a Launchpad with what Unizen is doing is Unizen is actually doing an incubator. So it's not just a place where they launch a project, but they actually advise on these projects in an advisory capacity, and they help these projects grow. They do AMAs with these projects regularly on their Telegram as well. And again, Unizen stakers would be able to earn a private sale or seed sale allocation just because you stake your Unizen on the platform. So all of this combined, to me, is a winner.
Crazy, man. How
I got in a little bit because it has Zen in the name. That's my
Wow.
thesis.
that's the only push you need to get into
That's
it.
my thesis.
So if I want to get Unizen right now, where do I go? Do I have to go on an exchange? Is it only exclusive on the exchange?
No, the exchange isn't even live. The staking is going live in a few weeks. They claim Q3, but it seems like end of September, I think.
How do I get it?
You can get it on Uniswap, but the fees are stupid. So KuCoin is the way. Yeah, KuCoin.
is the way.
And KuCoin is honestly, I love Binance, but KuCoin has won my heart only because they have all the hidden gems, man. All the Polkadot gems, like Polkadot, which is an ecosystem that I'm big on as well.
Zen is big on
KuCoin,
Polkadot as well, man. Haven't you heard?
yeah, exactly. Whew, figures.
Zen is huge on Dot. He
So
loves it.
all the Polkadot coins, all the gems, they actually get listed on KuCoin first before they go to Binance.
Yep.
So it's crazy. So I think at the time, for example, Fala Network was a privacy cloud token on Polkadot. It was on KuCoin trading for like 6-9 cents. Had a crazy run, and by the time it hit Binance, it was like $1.
That's the thing about
KuCoin.
Binance. It's very late when it comes to like up and coming coins.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. So I think for me, KuCoin is like, it's where I trade mostly now, also because of the whole Binance regulation thing. And there's soft staking and hard staking on PoolX as well. So if I'm not trading, I just put my coins there and I still earn a 5 to 6% without the redemption period. Just a
I gotta
no-brainer.
give it to Binance. Like their staking is pretty solid. I personally stake most of my coins on Binance or on PancakeSwap.
When
the
you say
Binance fan.
pancake swap,
Mhm.
like you mean you LP all your coins or
No,
like
I don't LP. I literally stake it.
ah
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to stake Pancake, the Pancake's token, which is called Pancake, and that
whoa,
token gives you a 91% as the last time I checked.
that's crazy,
Damn.
man.
It's crazy.
90%.
91%.
Okay.
But the more people stake, obviously the APR will go down.
You should check like Ram DeFi if you're into staking pancake swap. I think they were also giving like last I checked was like over 100% on cake as well.
It's crazy. Like there's so many places that you can do this. Even on Binance, if you don't trust the Pancake website, if you want to stake Pancake on Binance, they even give you like 30%, 30 to 40%.
Yeah, and as DeFi continues to grow, there's more ways than one to like just be able to gain more money. Like it's crazy because, for example, I think on Anchor Protocol, which runs on Luna, if you stake your Luna, you can also collateralize. You get their stable coins, and then you put the stable coins into another staking protocol that they have. So like not only that you're collateralizing and earning interest on that, you're also earning interest on the stable coins you just took out to stake further for another 20%.
So rewards on rewards on rewards. And
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
no wonder Luna popped off recently. Dude. I think people started
Yeah.
realizing the potential of Luna. Damn, Luna just did a 3x recently, if I'm not wrong.
Bottom out at 390, sitting at $30 now.
So the potential is insane. If you are willing to put in the time and effort to really dig out the limitless amount of info, right? It's really endless. There's so many projects, so many protocols. You just have to put in the time to figure out what they actually do. And if you think they provide value, most people would think so too. So many,
But that's a
many,
huge risk.
many.
That's a huge risk, man. Let's
For
be
sure.
grounded for a bit. Like you can get hacked. You can like there's nothing stopping from the creators from going like, you know what, I just want to stop. I just want to dump. Like freaking what is that meme coin?
Sounds like someone got rug pulled recently,
hurt
man. Who hurt you, bro?
No. I've never invested my money in ship, okay?
So sticking to the theme of high risk, high reward, right? The latest
Love
theme
it.
in the crypto space, NFTs, right?
I already love it, man.
So
They're the
people are-
highest burners of Ethereum, man, the last time I checked. when they popped it
Yeah,
off.
it's crazy.
I think the craziest one is that people are buying rocks for 7-figure US dollars. They're buying
Stupid, dude. I
pictures of
saw it.
rocks
It's
for
so
millions of
stupid.
dollars, right?
What's it called? Like crypto? What is it called?
Ether
again?
rocks.
It's historical value, right? It was made in 2017, only 100 ever. I think CryptoPunks kind of started the trend, like, and then it just became like everyone started scooping up like historical NFTs. Anything from 2017 to 2018 just started having this massive run.
Yeah, but
On
on
NFTs.
surface level, right? On surface level, it makes no sense. But nowadays, that seems to be the theme, right? The less it makes sense, the more returns it could possibly make.
But that's the thing. Like, it started off with like when I was so skeptical about NFTs. In my mind, it was just like it's pure hype. There's nothing backing this shit up. And then I think I was going through my Instagram feed, and I stumbled upon like a Gary Vee video, and he was talking about how it's like Fortnite, dude. You buy your skins, and then like I buy skins on my games as well, and I'm willing to pay that money. It's like the same concept, and it just clicks. I'm like, I'm in NFTs now. So
I do think NFTs will be the future of many, many different industries in art, in gaming, especially in any form of ticketing. I think ticketing will really, really take on the NFT logic, but I think we can save that for another video because if we dive into the NFT rabbit hole, this podcast will go on for another 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, I think NFTs currently are overhyped, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of projects going from like doing crazy runs in a day, when like a 0.1 ETH floor to 6 ETH, and I think a lot of people are gonna get burnt on it. But in hindsight, I think like you guys mentioned, it's a gateway for mass adoption, right? At the end of the day, similar to like Axie Infinity, which is like the play to earn game. It's just opening that gate for different kinds of people to enter the crypto space when people realize, oh, like Huang mentioned, I'm playing Fortnite, and eventually I'll be able to earn money off playing Fortnite, even if I'm not a professional player. And that's where you have like Axie Infinity.
Axie Infinity, right? That's like
Correct.
the shit. Everyone can retire and just go and
Play to
play
earn.
to earn. Yeah, that's the shit.
Yeah. I know people were earning like what, 5 grand a month, and then now you can manage people. People can play for you, and you take a cut. The NFT space as well is great because you cut out a lot of middle people. And I think aside from all the JPEGs that are floating around on the internet, what people don't realize is that people actually give utility to these NFTs. Like Zen mentioned, ticketing is a big one. King of Leons sold 6 golden tickets. I think they average like 50 ETH each. And what that gives you is like 4 front row seats for every like one concert, every tour for the rest of your life, private chauffeur, all these kind of bullshit, right? And the beauty of it is there is resellable value, and it creates a perpetual income for people. If I'm like a sick artist, I want to be discovered. I sell these things online, and every time it gets resold, I can put a royalty fee on it. So that creates a perpetual income for me.
You're gonna be a sick
And
lawyer, dude. You're gonna be one day you're gonna create your own NFTs. You're gonna sell it and be like free legal advice for life.
yo, I probably go broke, bro. I might as well just open like pro bono NFT ticketing. Yeah.
What are the few NFTs that you're currently participating in at the moment? What are your favorite ones so far?
Crazy. Okay, another disclaimer: NFTs are super risky, right? Because you're just
Really?
buying it for hype. In terms of a win to loss ratio, I've only won twice in an NFT buying all these NFTs I've ever bought. I bought one that got caught with like copyright, so that got taken down.
Ooh.
They've been relisted.
Shit.
A lot of them I've bought have gone to zero. My first ever win was Ether Lambos. So people were literally buying JPEGs of Lambos online. Um, had an issue with like minting them at first, so I didn't mint them like on retail, although they were available. But the FOMO was so real on OpenSea that I bought one for like 1.2 ETH, and like about 3 days later, I sold it for like 4 ETH. It was crazy. I'm into rocks now. Obviously, that's the
That's the
trend.
hype.
I'm
Get into rocks.
but yeah, I got no money to buy an Ether rock because I think the price floor now is 700 ETH, so 2 million USD. I bought a baby rock, a baby rock, because frogs
Baby
isn't
Rock.
okay. So basically, there's Ether rock, and there's also frogs with a PH. It's literally an Ether rock that's inverted and facing the other direction, and
Oh my god.
their tagline is I think I'm the rock that's tilting the right way. And like I bought a baby frog because obviously I can't afford a real frog. I think they're like
Yeah.
100 ETH now as well.
Yet. Soon.
I bought an invisible rock.
I
White
am
wallpaper.
Dumb, dude.
speechless.
It sounds
I
so
am
dumb.
speechless.
It sounds so. You just bought my white background.
Yeah, basically. I bought it for like $60, give or take plus gas maybe 100. Total, I sold both for like $900. So that's a
What?
win, right? Yeah.
So I just bought white background for
I
what?
mean, a win is a win.
Nah, the
Damn,
rock is
dude.
hair, bro. You just don't see it, dude.
Okay, but for real though, I mean, as great as it sounds, right? A lot of people like when I got into NFTs, I forgot like I was just looking at the floor, right? But I totally forgot about like the volume, like the buyers. So like the floor could be like 3 ETH, but if no one wants to buy it, no one's gonna buy it.
Yes, exactly. Because all you need is like one buyer to pump the floor up, right?
Yeah. Do you actually do your research before buying NFTs? Do you like look at like the artists? Like nowadays they have like roadmaps for NFTs, or you just look at the rock and just like, you know what? Yeah, I like it. I like the
I
idea of an invisible rock.
um I think NFTs now it's all narrative. It's all narrative based, right? Like crypto punks, and now you see like ape punks, COVID punks. There's so many kind of punks out there. After Bored Ape Yacht Club came out, so they're the first. I think they're the first or one of the first like 10,000 uniquely generated apes. Then I think
Everyone's doing it.
every day you have a new like 10,000 uniquely generated NFT kind of animal that's coming out, and if you realize all their roadmaps are the same as well, so it's really hard to pick and choose like which one to invest in. You probably would always catch an L, in my opinion. I've only seen pudgy penguins do great. Koalas are doing great at the moment. These are the two that I've seen done really well. It's hard to do research, man. I think, like you said, volume is really important. So NFTs are all about like community coins, and I think that's the very basis of CryptoPunks as well. Because back in 2017, I think they were all given out for free. They were just trying to build a community around NFTs, and if you don't have a strong community, NFT community for your project, it's good as dead. It's honestly good as dead.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
in order to do like a proper like 1000x on NFTs, you really have to hit the lottery, because if you think about it, maybe 1 out of 100,000 collections will hit that 100x, right?
Yep.
And you really need to catch one that an influencer will show and buy and show, you know, like the one that Logan Paul bought, you know, those kind of things. If you buy this into a random one, you're really praying that some big name is gonna buy. It's
Yeah,
really
that's
lottery.
why like when Isaac reiterated like you need a strong community, right? You need like people boasting about it. You need people being on Twitter talking about the NFTs and the projects. It's a lot of risk to bear, man, if you want to actually make money off an NFT.
Yeah. And
Okay.
the cost of joining the NFT game, given like OpenSea being so shit and the Ethereum network being so congested, is not cheap. Like
Expensive.
buying the Ether rock cost me $60. The gas cost me like $100, for example.
More than your rock, dude.
And I think what's really important, like when people go into the NFT game, it is riskier. It is riskier than trading cryptocurrencies. I would have to say that. I would have
So
to
much
say
younger, right? It's so much newer.
it's a given fact, you know. Like I said, like I've taken a lot of L's in the crypto space. I've gotten more wins now, and I've gotten literally one win, Ether Lambos and the Invisible Rocks. So 2 wins out of probably 15 NFT projects I invested in. So that's not a great win ratio. But I've made the money back from the Ether Lambo by one trade. So it really is like, if you have that capital to burn and risk it, and if you're full on degen like I am, then yeah, go ahead. But if not, you're better off putting your money in quality projects and cryptocurrencies. Yeah.
So what is your future outlook for crypto, right? How much are you going to trade? How much are you going to just buy and hodl strong projects, right? Where
Do you plan on retiring with your crypto?
100%. I think that's like, yeah, Zen and I were just having this conversation as well. It comes down to like what the term retiring means, right? I think generally when you're younger, we're chasing money. We have energy, we don't have time, right? And you grow older, you have money, you less energy, more time. And for me, cryptocurrencies will be a gateway to just be buying time. Eventually, I don't want to work a 9 to 5, but that doesn't mean I won't be making money. I want to be able to do the things I like to do. For example, now on a gap year, I'm advising on this new blockchain like project that's coming up as well. So it's all these kind of things that I'd rather be doing. And hopefully like cryptocurrencies or the gains I make will be able to give me that leeway to actually pursue something I'm genuinely interested in.
Right.
That's a really nice angle to have, right? Besides just the endless sort of rat race of chasing retirement, it's always nice to have freedom to do what you want to do, right? Add value. It's always nice to add value without having to worry so much about finances, right? That is honestly, truly the best way to live, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's funny because like now, I bet Huang is like, yeah, my 9 to 5 at EY is my passive income.
No.
If crypto crashes,
EY is my
I
life,
still
dude.
have a
I
job.
live for the EY experience. I hope you're hearing that, boss. It's been great having you on the podcast, man. Hope to have you back soon again.
Thanks, man.
I haven't had so much fun in a long time. We haven't had another episode. It's been too long. But yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, Isaac. Anything you want to say?
Thanks for having me. If anyone's joining the crypto space, just be safe. It's a scary place, and you're bound to lose money if you don't trade safe. Yeah, cut your losses where you can, always, and do your due diligence. Don't follow some shithole like who talks about one coin on YouTube, like BitConnect.
Biggest scam out there, man.
Yeah, man. But yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll be back soon.
Right, it's been a
Nice.
pleasure, man. Let's do this talk again in a year, and let's see how much progress the crypto space has made, right? I think that would be a very, very fun thing to look
Yeah.
back on.
We could be crying, or we could be like 3x. 3x
It could be a super cycle, man. And if the bull market ends mid next year, I'll be retired.
Chef's kiss. We'll be back here talking about retirement. All jokes. All right, cool.
So, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something new, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Money Minded.